Pulp Fiction, 1994. 15 Weird Facts You Never Knew intro. When Pulp Fiction hit theaters in 1994, it wasn't just another movie. It was a cultural explosion. Quentin Tarantino's second feature redefined how stories could be told, how dialogue could sound, and how cool could feel. It stitched together crime, comedy, and chaos with a rhythm that made audiences feel like they were eavesdropping on movie history. But beneath the razor-sharp wit, dancing, and bloodshed lies a vault of secrets, strange coincidences, behind-the-scenes disasters, and myths that have haunted Hollywood for decades. Today we open that vault to reveal 15 weird, wild, and mind-blowing facts about Pulp Fiction that even hardcore fans might not know. The wallet actually belonged to Tarantino. That iconic bad motherfucker wallet wasn't just a prop. It was Tarantino's personal wallet in real life. He thought it perfectly fit Jules Winfield's fearless energy, so he let Samuel L. Jackson use it for the film. After production, Tarantino reportedly kept it as a keepsake, though multiple replicas began selling in stores after the movie hit cult status. Ironically, the prop that symbolized cool criminal rebellion started as just a director's real accessory. John Travolta researched heroin the hard way. Travolta's famous heroin injection scene is disturbingly realistic, and that's because he got lessons straight from the source. Tarantino told him to speak with a real addict to understand the physicality of being high. The addict suggested he get drunk on tequila, float in a pool, and remember that sensation, the weightless calm of heroin. Travolta followed that advice to the letter, and the result was a performance that felt both terrifying and authentic. The dance scene was inspired by an old cartoon. That unforgettable twist contest between Mia Wallace and Vincent Vega wasn't just improvised genius. It was inspired by the 1963 film 812 and even older cartoons Tarantino grew up watching. Uma Thurman initially hated the idea of dancing on camera, feeling self-conscious, but Tarantino convinced her it was essential to the movie's pulse. Ironically, that quirky dance became the film's most iconic moment, one that's been endlessly parodied and referenced for decades. The famous briefcase still has no official explanation. Fans have debated for years what glowed inside Marsellus Wallace's briefcase. Theories range from his soul to gold bars to divine light. Tarantino, however, has refused to reveal the truth. The code 666 on the briefcase's lock only fueled more speculation. Actor Ving Rhames once joked that the real mystery was why everyone kept staring into it instead of running away. Whatever it was, it became one of cinema's greatest unsolved riddles. Samuel L. Jackson nearly lost his role before. Samuel L. Jackson became Jules Winfield. Another actor almost took the part, Paul Calderon. When Jackson flew in to audition, he didn't realize the role was nearly gone. But the moment he opened his mouth, Tarantino was blown away by his intensity and humor. Jackson's reading was so powerful that Calderon congratulated him on the spot. It's hard to imagine Pulp Fiction without that fiery monologue and righteous fury that made Jackson a star. Tarantino wanted a completely different cast. Believe it or not, Tarantino's early dream cast included Michael Madsen as Vincent Vega and even Bruce Willis as Pumpkin. Uma Thurman wasn't the first choice either. Tarantino approached Michelle Pfeiffer, Meg Ryan, and even Isabella Rossellini before Thurman's hypnotic voice on the phone changed his mind. Madsen couldn't join due to scheduling conflicts, paving the way for John Travolta's legendary comeback performance. Harvey Keitel saved the film's production. When Pulp Fiction ran into financing troubles, Harvey Keitel didn't just star as Winston Wolfe, he became the film's guardian angel. Keitel personally called investors and helped secure funding after Tarantino's project was nearly dropped. His involvement added credibility to the indie project and drew other A-list actors to join. Without Keitel's help, Pulp Fiction might never have seen the light of day, or the glow of that mysterious briefcase. Bruce Willis took a pay cut to join. At the time, Bruce Willis was one of the biggest stars in Hollywood, known for Die Hard. But he agreed to work on Pulp Fiction for far less than his usual rate, simply because he believed in the script. Tarantino promised him that Butch Coolidge would revive his acting credibility. And he was right. The film redefined Willis's image from action hero to serious actor. The gamble paid off with global acclaim and a new wave of respect. The film revived surf rock overnight. That surf guitar opening theme, Monsieur Lou, didn't just set the mood. It resurrected an entire genre. Dick Dale's 1962 track exploded back into the charts after the film's release, introducing younger generations to surf rock. Record stores saw a sudden spike in demand for 1960s instrumental rock albums. Tarantino, a music obsessive, later said he wanted music that sounded like a knife fight, and Monsieur Lou delivered exactly that: sharp, wild, unforgettable. 10. The movie's structure was almost linear. Tarantino originally wrote Pulp Fiction in a traditional chronological order. It wasn't until editing that he realized the nonlinear structure would make the story more hypnotic. By shuffling timelines, he turned ordinary crime tales into an interlocking puzzle. This editing choice changed modern cinema forever, inspiring filmmakers from Christopher Nolan to Guy Ritchie. What began as an accident became one of the most innovative narrative experiments ever filmed. The adrenaline shot scene was filmed backwards. When Vincent Vega plunges a syringe into Mia Wallace's chest, it looks horrifyingly real. In reality, Travolta didn't stab her at all. The shot was filmed in reverse. He started with the needle already in the mark, then pulled it out fast while the film ran backward in post-production. The editing made it look like he drove it in with deadly precision. Simple movie magic turned into one of cinema's most shocking moments. Tarantino's hand is hidden in the movie when Uma Thurman's character overdoses and her hand crashes against the wall. That's not her hand, it's Tarantino's. Uma was too nervous about breaking the prop, so Tarantino stepped in for a close-up shot. He later joked that directing Pulp Fiction was the only way to ensure his own hand would end up in film history. It's a blink and you'll miss it cameo, but one that perfectly captures Tarantino's obsessive attention to every frame. The movie almost got an NC-17 rating. The film's brutal violence, drug scenes, and explicit language nearly got it banned from major theaters. The MPAA initially threatened an NC-17 rating, which would have crippled box office sales. Miramax fought back, trimming a few frames from the heroin injection scene and one from Marvin's head explosion. The small edits satisfied the board, and Pulp Fiction went on to win the Palme d'Or, proving that artistic chaos can still find its place in the mainstream. The set was robbed during production. During the film's editing phase, thieves broke into the production office and stole several reels of raw footage. Tarantino panicked, fearing that his masterpiece was gone for good. Luckily, the negatives were stored separately, saving the project. The stolen reels were never recovered, but Tarantino turned the scare into motivation, pushing harder to perfect every detail of the film's editing and pacing. The chaos behind the camera mirrored the chaos on screen. The script was written in a diner. Tarantino wrote much of Pulp Fiction sitting in diners across Los Angeles, surrounded by coffee cups and notebooks. He listened to random conversations, collecting snippets of real talk that would later become legendary dialogue. Many of Jules and Vincent's lines were born from these overheard exchanges, philosophical, funny, and frighteningly real. Tarantino once said he wanted to capture the poetry of small talk, and that's exactly what he did. Outro Pulp Fiction isn't just a movie. It's a cinematic revolution wrapped in blood, humor, and mystery. Every line, every glance, every out-of-order scene carved new rules for storytelling. It made pop culture feel intelligent and made violence feel like art. From its glowing briefcase to its unforgettable dance, Pulp Fiction remains a timeless paradox. Cool yet brutal, random yet precise. 3 decades later, fans are still quoting, decoding, and worshipping it. And maybe that's the weirdest fact of all, that a low-budget indie crime film became one of the most endlessly discussed movies ever made.